Hello and welcome to the Reykjavík Grapevine Newscast. My name is Valur Grettisson. I'm an editor-in-chief at the Reykjavík Grapevine, the magazine of course, as well as this all. This is Polly. She is my chief of morale officer and a bloody good one as such. Everyone should actually have a chief of morale officer, to be honest. Should be an official rank everywhere. Before we begin, we have quite heavy news, but I mean that's the atmosphere right now. A lot about politics, of course, but I wanted to tell you, of course, about our High Five Club. If you appreciate our journalism, if you read our grapevine.is homepage or our magazine, of course, that's what we do 70% of our time. You can actually join there, and you can get a lot of benefits. And for example, I want to add this to this, which is our tours. You will get a discount from our tours, and these tours have everything from me and Bjartmar and Polly explaining why Icelanders are like we are, basically to if you want to get the bus from the Keflavík International Airport to Reykjavík, or you just want to see the, what do you call it, the Golden Triangle, the Gullna Hringin. You can see Geysir, Gullfoss, whatever. You can buy it all there. It's hopefully a one-stop shop, I think it's called. We're here downtown Reykjavík. This area is actually the oldest area in Reykjavík, called Grjótaþorpið, or the village of rocks, basically. These houses are the oldest ones. And keep in mind that Reykjavík is fairly a young city. It didn't become a true city until like after 1900. So before that, we just had farms and such. So let's go for the news. Here we go. I want to show you a new square, but before that, I want to tell you a little bit about the status of refugees in Iceland when it comes to Ukraine. We have now, it's between 800 and 900 people that have arrived to Iceland, and this is quite heavy for Icelandic infrastructure, of course, but nonetheless, it's incredible how well this has been going. There has been no hiccup in the media or anything. A lot of people, a lot of companies are actually helping out. There's a famous Icelandic advertisement company called Pipar. They are offering them like a kitchen in the morning and so on. And it's a very nice to see this. And Icelanders are doing this surprisingly well. Although this can be quite heavy for the infrastructure, of course, because I mean 800 people or 900 people in just a matter of a few months in Iceland is very high. For example, we now have a record when it comes to refugees in Iceland. We have never had so many combined, as well over 12 or 1300 people, and we are expecting around 1,500 refugees from Ukraine alone. And then you have to add, of course, other countries, if it will be Syria, Afghanistan, and whatnot. Also, a lot of these people from Ukraine, they have permission to work also. It's not actually easy for asylum seekers to get any work in Iceland. First of all, there is almost no unemployment in Iceland. Haven't been in my lifetime, and before that, it's usually around 2 to 4%. When it goes up to 5%, that's when something really grave is happening, basically. Whether that would be the crashing of the banks or whatnot. So Icelanders are, because we are so few, we have a lot of jobs, of course, and we also always need more workers, migrant workers, from all over the world, because we don't really we're just not many enough to fill all these jobs. So it's a good thing actually, and it's very good that the Ukrainians that want to work can work, because not everyone can work, of course, because well, it's quite a shock, of course, to adapt to a new society when you're fleeing from a war. So we understand that, of course. But here's the interesting thing. The city of Reykjavík, they had this idea about changing this street here and this is called Garðastræti, or the Garden Street. They wanted to change this into Kyiv Street, or Kænugarðsstræti. And keep in mind, we have a very old name for Kyiv in Icelandic. It's dated back to the 13th century when the Vikings were traveling all around. And this is interesting in that case that because, hello! It's interesting because Vikings, they sailed a lot to Kyiv in the 13th century. Thinks he's not happy with I'm sitting here. But the thing is that, of course, the streets in Reykjavík, it's not an easy task to change the names. The people in Reykjavík are perhaps a little bit conservative about it and so on. So, what we did is that there was another proposition to name this square here the Kyiv Square, or Kænugarðstorg. Torg is the square, Kænugarður is the old name we use for the city of Kyiv. So this square here is actually named both Kænugarð Square as well as Kyiv Square. So it has two names, just a matter of like what you want to use, of course. There's a beautiful sculpture here, and it's a beautiful area. I always pass this area when I'm walking to my job. If you want to find me at 9 o'clock in the morning. We have a sculpture here. I'm not sure actually who owns this sculpture. It's from the, it's a gift from Latvia. Because of course Icelanders were very progressive when it came to admitting like helping them with the independence in the early 90s. But I want to show you another thing, because this is quite humorous at the same time. Only like 30 seconds away from here is, of course, the Russian embassy. This is like what we call, like, it's nicknamed the Embassy Street. We have the Indian embassy over there. The consul for Greenland is here, for example. And then here we have the Russian embassy. This is the embassy, and you can see someone is here, obviously. You can see that it only, like, every time they go to work, they have to pass Kænugarðs Square, or the Kyiv Square. So it's a pretty interesting and nice support from the city of Reykjavík. Of course, also elections are coming up, so I mean, it was expected. And also, you've seen like there was splashes of red paint on the embassy, but they have obviously painted over that. But they haven't. They have two places, and they haven't done so in the other one. You can see there is still some red paint over here, and the Ukrainian flag is on the poles all around here, and so on. So although people are not demonstrating anymore in front of it, but Icelanders are very, very supportive when it comes to the Ukrainian nation. And then to the news, politics. The sales of Íslandsbanki, or the Bank of Iceland. And I'm sorry about that. There is nothing else actually happening. This is consuming all of our news. This is politics at its most Icelandic finest, if you will. You go here. Do you want to keep me on the other side? Okay. So, yesterday was a big day. It was at the parliament. We had this, there was the financial committee, and they had an open hearing about the sale. And this is more like, it's perhaps the Americans know this pretty well, like these hearings and political hearings. This is basically just grilling people. Yesterday we had the director of the Icelandic State Financial Investment. This is a government body that oversaw the sales of the shares, this 22.5% share that was sold to a lot of investors, and he actually was answering questions from the members of the parliament, and one of these questions revealed that they actually got gifts, the people that worked there. And this has shocked Icelanders. It's kind of an old fashion, basically, for Icelanders. Like, why are you taking gifts from anyone, being working for the government, doing this? And the people like was giving these gifts and having like dinners, and they were eating at noon with them. These people were the people that were like working for the government, overseeing the sales for this government body. So the gifts are actually quite hilarious. I'm not sure if this is, I mean, first of all, it was wine bottles, wine. I guess that's pretty standard. They also gave them chocolate, like assorted chocolate. And finally, they gave them actually fireworks. And the thing is, I'm not sure how many actually have been with me and Bjartmar in our walking tours. But we know that when people are like, the most notorious moment when we used fireworks was when we were celebrating that we signed off our independence to Denmark. But we love fireworks actually. But the thing is that we know that fireworks is like, they are incredibly expensive. Yet we buy them every year, and we do so quite like vigorously. We are insane on New Year's Eve. But nonetheless, I'm not sure if any other bankers or like government employer in the world would actually get fireworks as a gift from some investors or whatever that would be. This was, of course, Icelanders were making a lot of fun of this yesterday, and they were quite shocked. And the Pirate Party, they have asked for like further details about this, and also if this is fine or not. Experts say that this is actually always happening. This is something that happens a lot in Europe also, and these gifts are like they are not like an overkill in any way. It's more like just tacky, I guess. So, yeah, to add to everything, this has been like quite hard, of course, for the finance minister, Bjarni Benediktsson. He is the chairman of the Independence Party, and he's been so since 2009. Been there for a while. He's been a minister also for a while. I think in combined like 9 years, and there are going to be protests. And I talked about this the other day, like a few weeks ago when this was all starting, that people were not protesting anything about it, and when they were, it was not that big. But it's changing. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every week. And on next Saturday, if the weather will be like this, we can be pretty sure that there will be a lot of people at this protest. Last week there were like not a few hundred, but probably like 1,000 or 2,000, which in Icelandic standard is quite a lot. Also, a new poll came when it comes to the city council. I've been talking about the elections, and I'm talking about it because, well, it matters the most to us in Reykjavík. It's also good for, of course, immigrants in Iceland just to know what the situation is. And the thing is that a new poll shows that these events about the selling of the Bank of Iceland is really hurting the Independence Party. And the city body of the Independence Party, they are now with the lowest numbers that we have seen at least for 4 years. I don't even remember when we saw these low numbers. They're in 17% now. They got around 25 or 30% last time, and they have historically more often been well over 30% when it comes to elections. But now they're in 17%, which is, of course, it's a shock, to be honest. Not only that, but they have a new frontman, Hildur Björnsdóttir. I talked about her also before. She is a very prominent leader, but she also has connections, family ties to this very rich man called Jón Ásgeir. And this man used to own Glitnir, and all of this is now coming to light. And adding to everything, it's like, well, it seems pretty dire actually for the Independence Party. And not only that, but the Progressive Party, which is also in government, they are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They don't even have a man right now in the city council, but according to the polls, they might actually get 3 men. And they are taking this all away from the Independence Party. So we are seeing perhaps a pretty big changes when it comes to politics in Iceland. And even a political scientist, his name is Eiríkur Bergmann. He's actually written a lot in English, and many of these books are about populism. And he's brilliant. He's actually quite brilliant in what he does. And he actually says that and he like says that this is like an earthquake, like a political earthquake, what's happening right now, and it might even change more than we think when it comes to the political landscape. And also, like historically, Iceland has only had 4 political parties. I know in England and the US you only have 2 more or less, but there are 4 ruling like parties. But right now, like it seems that this is changing also, and it's going to stay like that. Many parties have, of course, come, but not all parties have succeeded and kept their place at the parliament. They've been falling out and disappearing literally and just dying. But right now we have, for example, the Pirate Party, which is getting stronger and stronger by every day, and they are taking a lot of these votes from the Social Democrats. So it's like it's liberalism. That's what they are more or less very strong when it comes to everything, and they have also been incredibly strong when it come to this discussion about the banking, selling of the bank, as well as the Social Democrats actually. Yeah, and should we go by the pond or something? She's finally getting tired, or what? No ball. And also, you probably know this yourself, especially if you're like very interested in Iceland, that it's very hard to find Icelandic movies and TV shows and so on, especially the older ones. This means that, I mean, like the time when we were actually renting videotapes, I can't even remember the English name for this, video rental, right? Or videoleigur, there are none in Iceland anymore. I'm guessing it's the same in your own home country. But the thing is that the Icelanders finally are going to get a streaming service, which is government-run actually by the Icelandic Film Fund. And they are looking for names for this Icelandic streaming service. We don't know what it is right now, but they have gotten like a well over 100 propositions about the names. And it would be interesting to see what will come out of this, because Icelanders have been talking about this for the longest time. It's not acceptable that we can't really watch old Icelandic movies, because they don't really go to Netflix and so on, at least not the old stuff. So this will be accessible for everyone. I'm guessing that you have to pay some fee for it and so on. But the government is going to run it, and it will be interesting also to see, I mean, government-run video rental. It doesn't sound good actually, but I don't see anyone else doing it. And also it will be definitely important when it comes to like our history and culture and so on. So if you have a name, actually, I can put the email in the description. But it has to be in Icelandic, I think. But I'm guessing ice will be somewhere in the name. Yeah, and a Scottish company, has been waiting for 12 months now with launching a space shuttle, like a small one. It's 11 meters high, and they want to shoot this up. And this is like a logical step, because Iceland and the UK, we did this agreement about space exploration when it comes to science and such. And Iceland has a complicated and a long history when it comes to space. For example, in the 60s, Neil Armstrong and all of these guys, they were actually rehearsing the moon landing in Iceland, because apparently there is no other country in the world that are so similar to the moon. so I'm guessing that would be the logical step. But the thing is that they haven't been allowed to do this, and it seems like it's a government thing. We go here. And the thing is that they haven't been doing this, haven't been allowed to do this, because the government body, which is like a transport something, yeah, the Icelandic Transport Authority, they are said to be unsure if they are even fit to give this permission. And the thing is that they are trying to say that other government bodies should say yes to this or no. And the people in the town, it's called Langanes. It's in the middle of is the northeast of Iceland, almost in the middle of Húsavík and Akureyri. And they are waiting for this permission, and the people there and the town council says that there is nothing wrong on their end. They are actually just quite excited for this to happen, but they are still waiting for the permission. So we have to see what comes out of it. But if this will happen, and I'm hoping that now it will, because they are challenging them just to finish this, the government that is. If this will be allowed, it will mean that this will be the biggest space launch in Europe. According to Morgunblaðið newspaper, I'm not sure if that is true, but that's what said in the paper. I feel like it's very unlikely, to be honest, but I don't really know much about space exploration. So yeah, let's hope that they will get this improvement and all of these what you need to basically shoot out a space shuttle. Iceland is convenient when it comes to actually space exploration, because we are, I don't know, there are some reason for it. We are closer to the hemisphere or whatever. How they see this is very convenient. I don't even understand half of it, but it seems like it's complicated but fun. This is it. I just want to show you this house. This is where the city council is. If you're going to vote, for example, and you live in this area, this is where you vote. I used to vote here, but now I have to vote in the west of Reykjavík. We vote in the schools, and it's very nice and very fun. The elections will of course be the 14th of May, and I can promise you that we will have to tell you more about the politics, and of course in our podcast. Remember our High Five Club membership, remember our tours, of course, and if you want to send us an email or whatever, then just send us the editorial@grapevine.is, I think. We'll leave it down there. I always forget these emails. But yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time, and like and subscribe and so on.